751 6868. And you should stay tuned now for Ike Engelbaum, who was very important yesterday. He's coming up in a moment. And have a wonderful day. Thank you for sharing the morning. I'm Bob Allison. Rob and I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
We are WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights. WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500.
Welcome to the bright side of aging. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm a pharmacist and the publisher of AmericanSeniorGazette.org. It has been wisely said, you cannot help getting older, but you can help getting old. It has also been said that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. My purpose in doing the show is so that seniors and caregivers can share their ideas and questions on how we can age gracefully and in a vertical position for as long as our good genes will allow. And if we've inherited bad genes, how to outwit them. Our topics include senior housing, financial, legal, safety, travel, health issues, interesting senior events in the community, and most of all, tips on how to put old on hold.
Is House Calls on Wheels.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. for the Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneurs Network radio show featuring Ike Engelbaum. Ike does an array of interviews with people that make the aging process go smoothly. And for the Entrepreneurs Network segment, Ike interviews up-and-coming entrepreneurs. If you're looking to start your own business, Ike has some great advice to offer you to get your dreams of starting a home-based business a reality. If you'd like to talk to Ike Engelbaum for more information, call 313-929-6105. That's 313-929-6105. So tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. to hear Ike Engelbaum on the Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneur Network radio show.
House Calls on Wheels. And if you need a helping hand to stay at home, or maybe you'd like somebody to provide transportation or grocery shopping or run errands for you, or maybe you're going to need help with bathing or personal grooming, or you need home renovations to enable you to stay in that home safely and securely. Or maybe you can't leave your home, but you need somebody to come in and do things like a doctor, a nurse, a podiatrist, a dentist, or to have your prescriptions delivered to you. Well, House Calls on Wheels is the answer to all of that. House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. And all the medical services are covered by insurance. The non-medical services start as low as $10 an hour. So if you or someone you know needs a helping hand at home, call House Calls on Wheels for a free in-home consultation. And that toll-free number is 1-888-489-8980. All right? That's 1-888-489-8980.
And hopefully you're having a great day, and it's certainly an opportunity to enjoy looking at grass, even though it's not quite green. I actually appreciate knowing that spring is not too far away, and hopefully we can, as they say, spring forward. I like to just have the feeling that spring is right around the corner, And it is, and every minute we're getting closer and closer. And I hope that you look at it that you're looking forward instead of backward. Although we should do both in life. As you know, my tagline is that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. But if there's a gift that I can try to have you share is in the fact that enjoy the moment. Because I have a series of Ikeisms, as I like to call them. One of them is that enjoy today, because today is going to be the good old days in the future. We have a lot going on in our world, and the sad part is that if you are constantly trying to think back how things were and not really enjoying the present, you're missing out on a lot. One of my pet peeves with people is that they worry many times unnecessarily. There's enough stuff that you can worry about, but don't stress the uncomfortable. Enjoy the moment. Try to get out as much as possible, especially as you go on in years. One of the downsides, of course, is that you lose close people in your life. And the good part of that, if there is such a thing, is that you had the enjoyment of being with them and celebrating what your relationships were. And I cannot stress the importance of mingling. And this afternoon, between 3 to 4 p.m., American House in West Bloomfield, right on Maple near Orchard Lake Road, is going to have a little mixer from 3 to 4. You're welcome to join me. They're going to be talking about benefits that veterans may be missing out on. It's free, light refreshments, especially if you're a veteran. I think you will benefit. And if you yourself are not a veteran, encourage veteran friends of yours. And this way you can hang out together, learn about things that veterans should be getting that they're not, and at the same time develop a relationship. Find good reason to keep it moving. As they say, move it or lose it. And someone who's practicing that in their daily life, and he's losing very little because he does a lot of moving. His name is Lou Goutman, and for those of you who listen to Bob Allison on a daily basis, he's sort of become the house guru. And I'm proud to have him as a close friend and also as a vice president of the Entrepreneurs Network Group that meets every Thursday morning from 9:15 to 11 a.m. at Level 1 Bank, 37100 Woodward in Bloomfield Hills, southeast corner of Big Beaver and Woodward. We have free coffee, free donuts. You talk about mingling, by golly, come on out there, and we can mix and mingle together. We have a speaker, we have a lot of fun. And now that we are living longer, there are a lot of people out there that retire, and then they find out that one or two things they didn't anticipate quite well. Number one, they really don't have as much money as they thought they would. So I say don't retire, but refire. If you are over 50 and you want to start a home-based business, I've done some seminars on Encore Entrepreneurship. Show up. It's free, 9:15 to 11 a.m. And the wonderful thing about it is when Lou can make it out, you'll get a chance to meet and greet him. And I've met him many times, and he's a wonderful guy. He's a former president of the Rotary Club and the Optimist Club, founder of the Rotary Club. I could go on, but why don't I have him go on and on? Are you ready to go on and on, Mr. Lou Goutman?
I am. My goodness. I had to stop and think about who you were really talking about for a moment here.
I see.
I didn't recognize myself.
Well, I'll remind you who you are.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate the very kind words, and thank you. And as you mentioned, I do like to give a few tips every now and then on Bob's show on Ask Your Neighbor for the listeners who are just tuning in. I hope that they also do listen to Ask Your Neighbor preceding you not only on Wednesday but every day from 9 to 11. We had talked a little bit about some safety things, and since this is the bright side of aging, and it's geared toward caregivers and older folks like ourselves, there's at least a story in the news, in the TV news, the radio news, or the newspaper, at least once a week about a home fire. And one of the things that is near and dear to my heart is to make sure that the neighbors are safe. So we want to make sure everybody has working smoke detectors and that the batteries are fresh. Oftentimes the fire department, you'll hear sometimes they'll go into a house and they'll either not find smoke detectors, or they'll find that the batteries have been taken out and they're non-working. So that's point number one. But one of the other...
Before you go on, Lou,
yeah,
as far as the smoke detectors, how frequently do you suggest people change the battery?
Okay, so good question. First of all, if it's whether it's wired in or it's battery only, and the wired in smoke detectors still have a battery backup, the smoke detectors, or the batteries in the smoke detectors, need to be changed out once a year. A good way to remember that is during daylight saving time, the end of daylight saving time in the fall, when we fall back. Sadly, more home fires tend to happen in the fall and the winter season than they do during the summer. So that's a good time to get out there and replace it. The other thing is that the smoke detector itself really should be replaced every 10 years, because they become not as effective after 10 years. What happens is dust tends to accumulate inside, making them less effective, and there's a small amount of radioactive material in a lot of them that, again, just loses its potency, so to speak. For our listeners who don't know, you're a retired pharmacist, and so you.
I'm a refired pharmacist.
Refired.
The answer is
yes.
that daylight saving time might be a good way for you to remember. Replace the batteries. It's well worth it. The other thought is that they've got different type batteries, lithium, the others.
Right.
What do you recommend?
Well, what I would recommend is that the neighbors check, or the listeners check, to see what the manufacturer of the smoke detector recommends. They will usually recommend the type of battery, because sometimes you can use the lithium-ion battery, sometimes just the good old-fashioned Duracell or Energizer or Rayovac battery. The alkaline batteries are sufficient. So I always check with the manufacturer, and if you don't have the if the listeners don't have the paperwork, then usually you can go online and look it up. But the important thing is to make sure that it is a working smoke detector. The other thing is, especially in the fall when we're using our furnace, is to make sure that there's a carbon monoxide detector somewhere in the house, and that should usually be in the sleeping area or sleeping areas of the home, in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And those plug in and have a battery backup as well. Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas that is odorless, colorless, and tasteless. So unlike a natural gas leak that has the smell of rotten eggs, which, by the way, the gas detector will also pick that up as well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let me ask you, as far as the actual placement of them. Bedrooms, any other in the hallway? Where do you recommend they be put?
Well, mostly in the sleeping areas. So really, every bedroom should have one.
Right.
If you, they're not recommended in areas where you're doing some cooking, like a kitchen, for example, because you can get false alarms sometimes.
Right. Well, so. I am reminded since. You brought it up. Phyllis Diller had a great line, and we're going to have to wrap it up. She said, you're a bad cook if you use the timer being the smoke detector.
Right, yes, right.
So if you're that bad, then don't do it. Lou, it's been a delight talking to you, and
thank you.
Hopefully you'll give us some more tips. And, and are you ready for your tagline for the year 2018, Mr. Lou Goutman?
Yeah, I can hardly wait.
If you don't know what to do, call Lou. Whoa, all right.
All right.
We'll be right back, folks, with Dr. Andre Lee, who also has some great information that I know you can take advantage of. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Is House Calls on Wheels. And if you need a helping hand to stay at home, or maybe you'd like somebody to provide transportation or grocery shopping or run errands for you, or maybe you're going to need help with bathing or personal grooming, or you need home renovations to enable you to stay in that home safely and securely. Or maybe you can't leave your home, but you need somebody to come in and do things like a doctor, a nurse, a podiatrist, a dentist, or to have your prescriptions delivered to you. Well, House Calls on Wheels is the answer to all of that. House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. And all the medical services are covered by insurance. The non-medical services start as low as $10 an hour. So if you or someone you know needs a helping hand at home, call House Calls on Wheels for a free in-home consultation. And that toll-free number is 1-888-489-8980. All right? That's 1-888-489-8980.
And usually Bob finishes it but I'll take 0. But the reason I want to say is because we have a wonderful human being, talented, and hope he still calls me my friend, because I call him my friend, Dr. Andre Lee. As you well know, if you listen to the program, is a historian, a professor. He was the administrator of Highland Park General Hospital, and he's sort of a walking encyclopedia of the healthcare field. And when he was in Michigan, he actually helped various entrepreneur-type thinkers if they wanted to get into hospice, and he's been very successful at it, and he's taught at Baker College. But we only have about 10 minutes left, so I don't want to take away from it. So, Dr. Andre Lee, hopefully all is well in Tennessee, because that's where you moved to, right?
Yes, sir. We got sunshine today, and
go ahead, rub it in. Go ahead, rub it in. All right, that's.
Oh gosh, I feel sorry for you people in Michigan. Oh my goodness.
You feel our pain, huh?
Oh my goodness, I really felt bad about that. Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sure you get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am going to be very upfront with the audience, and that is that you had sent me your book on accolades. It's more of a booklet. It's 8.5 by 11, and the book is just something that if anyone wants to sort of get their thoughts organized about people that are in their life that as to how best to celebrate while they're alive. The book is called Accolades, and the subtitle is Celebrating the Life and Legacy of a Loved One Before They Leave. And you bring out so well in your book how many times at a funeral people that gather start sharing anecdotal experience about how wonderful that the deceased was, and they find out after the person is gone that they really knew him together but never had the joy of really doing things that they wanted to. And the book is an easy read. It's 24 pages, 8.5 by 11, and it's so well organized that as much as I take pride in my creativity, I don't think I could do better. I don't think anybody. You have 51 ideas of what to do, rather than a lot of people reminisce or they make sidebar comments while the person's alive, and then after the person passes away, you suddenly realize, gee, I wish I had done that or that, this or that. So I'd like, with your permission, to sort of give a teaser, and we probably won't get a chance to do all of the 51 points on today's program, but your challenge, should you wish to accept it, we're going to go through the chapters to really give a good overview of what a wonderful book Accolades is. And there couldn't have been a better subtitle, Celebrating the Life and Legacy of a Loved One Before They Leave.
Yes.
Tell me, number 1 point is legacy book. Tell me about what was behind that.
Well, that's really just assembling the accomplishments of a loved one throughout their lifetime. All of us, I hope, have done some notable things. Of course, we're on that celebrity status, as many of us thought we would be when we were younger, but certainly we have done a lot of wonderful things throughout our career, whether it's being a teacher or a pharmacist or whatever. And we've gotten awards along the way, and you kind of put that down into a book so that your ancestors can read about you later on, 10, 20 years from now.
Right.
They'll have pictures and they'll know what you did while you're doing. Right now, most of us don't have that.
Oh, I would say,
and we don't pass it on to our children like we should.
Right.
So
well, maybe it's because since you brought up pharmacists, as you all know, I'm a pharmacist, so
right.
So I can associate with that, because part of the curriculum for a pharmacist is to have an organized way of filling a prescription that most people are not aware as to the mechanics of getting the prescription filled. They assume when they're handed the bottle, that's it. Well, we are taught when in pharmacy school about making darn sure that when the doctor writes a prescription, that obviously if there's any ambiguity in the correction of it, that you tell them right away. So you're supposed to look at the bottle before you take it off the shelf, and then you count the appropriate number of tablets or capsules. Then you're supposed to look on the bottle after you filled it to make sure that your mind didn't go sidetrack. And what I like about it is I like things, and I would think most people want it systematic. In the legacy book, you actually give specifics, have photographs, a birth certificate, a marriage license, the degrees, awards, many decorations, family tokens, all in that book. And it's like everything else, you have to have sort of a checklist, and you get sidetracked, you throw in a few photographs and what have you, but this gives you the organizational capability, and what's most important is what its specific steps that you can take. For example, the way I interpret your legacy book is that, hey, you've got roughly 7 categories: photographs, birth certificate, marriage license, degree. So you know, hey, this is what I got to check in. Then you have a memorial photo book, and I'd like you to discuss that if you would.
Well, the memorial photo book, obviously, a lot of people are visual, and it's easier for them to see some of those accomplishments that people have done rather than sit down and have to read them. So along the way, obviously, photography has advanced, but it doesn't make any difference. You have those photographs there when they were a teacher, or when they were playing a sports game, or when they got an award, or some kind of recognition. So you have a whole litany of photographs in there chronologically to highlight the person's life as well. Right. And that's just slightly different from a legacy book. But again, the idea is to confirm that legacy. Okay.
Right. Well, one of my Ikeisms that I've sort of rented is that if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then the real thing is worth 1,000 pictures. So
exactly. And you have it at the funeral. I mean, the celebration, or you have it before the funeral, really. But you can do it both ways.
And then you have some random photographs as well. So, but again, not to belabor the point, it's one thing to talk about, hey, I'm going to do like a journal or a legacy type book. But it's another that you say, hey, what personal photographs are there? You have family photographs, the father and mother photographs, and like you brought out, sports activities. What about school activities? And what about work activity? In fact, I have a picture. My dad owned a little delicatessen in Windsor, and one of the pictures that were taken while I was standing next to my dad in this little delicatessen. And I have this as a prominent part of in the
living.
That
something?
Right.
Old pictures mean a lot, don't they?
Right. But those are memories that obviously, as long as you're alive, you're going to appreciate. And it's one thing to talk about it, but there I see my dad's picture, and it brings back the memories when I work next to him. So I can't encourage people strongly enough that why not do it for yourself, or do it for somebody in your family that doesn't participate in all the family activities. I'm embarrassed to tell you, and I'm sure it's true in other families, we have certain relatives that hardly show up at many of the events that we have to celebrate as a family, and every once in a while they do pop in.
But they're relatives.
They're relatives, right. So those, they're you can't pick your relatives. You can pick your friends, right?
They're relatives.
Right. Well, the point I was going to try to make was that this way, for those random type relatives, you got a picture of them at least. That way, it's a treasure for the rest of your life.
There you go.
Number 3, recognition column as opposed to obituary.
Well, I'm just saying it's nice to put that in there. You can do it before the person leaves, and they can appreciate the fact that people do remember them. The next one I had that I really like is the recognition card.
Right, and I wish we could get, and Dr. Lee, please excuse me, but we've run out of time on this one.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is that I always like to finish off the show with my favorite remark, and we'll continue on this on our next visit next week. And my parting thought is that if you think about it, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking and living life with the bright side of aging. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Our mission is to interview successful entrepreneurs who are willing to share with us their ideas and experiences, both the successes and the failures. Because as it has been jokingly said, you should learn from the mistakes of others because you'll never live long enough to make them all yourself. My name is Ike Engelbaum, and I'm the founder of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, which is a group of motivated people that are all interested in helping each other and achieving our personal and professional goals. Please check out our website, entrepreneursnetworkofmichigan.com, for meeting schedule as well as self-improvement material. Our philosophy is that if it's to be, it's up to me.
Is House Calls on Wheels. And if you need a helping hand to stay at home, or maybe you'd like somebody to provide transportation or grocery shopping or run errands for you, or maybe you're going to need help with bathing or personal grooming, or you need home renovations to enable you to stay in that home safely and securely. Or maybe you can't leave your home, but you need somebody to come in and do things like a doctor, a nurse, a podiatrist, a dentist, or to have your prescriptions delivered to you. Well, House Calls on Wheels is the answer to all of that. House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. And all the medical services are covered by insurance. The non-medical services start as low as $10 an hour. So if you or someone you know needs a helping hand at home, call House Calls on Wheels for a free in-home consultation. And that toll-free number is 1-888-489-8980. All right? That's 1-888-489-8980.
And welcome. And if you haven't marked down on the whole year, Thursdays is a special day. By golly, do it right now before you forget. Every Thursday morning from 9:15 to 10:30, the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan is hosted by Level 1 Bank. It's free to attend. We call it Conversations Over Coffee, where you have your 60-second elevator pitch. We have some dynamite speakers. You have a chance to not only pitch your idea, but if you become prepared, if you'll give us a listing of at least, if not 10, 5 of the top people that you'd like to be in touch with, that's one of the perks of our Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan. I bill myself as an overnight success of entrepreneurship. It's taken me 45 years to put this together. Is that overnight? Well, maybe it's a little more than overnight. Anyway, I have been very fortunate in this wonderful country, despite our politicians trying to change it to a point where the people that now live here, that are immigrants and have come over, and many times because of society, feel compelled that they have to give the people coming in the same type of lifestyle that they had. I got news for you. They came here because they didn't like that particular lifestyle. We should be so proud of what we have in terms of entrepreneurship. So that's why every Thursday morning I wanted to make it easy. From 9:15 to 10:30, we meet at Level 1 Bank. That's 37100 Woodward, southeast corner of Big Beaver and Woodward. That's Bloomfield Hills, free to attend. You get a chance to introduce yourself. You also get a chance to schmooze after our meeting. Then, if you don't have time to come in the morning, then how about lunchtime? Lunchtime, 11:30 till 1. We meet over at O'Mara's Restaurant, 2555 West 12 Mile Road, southwest corner of Coolidge and 12 Mile. That's Berkeley, Michigan. We have a nice big table that everyone gets a chance to see each other, talk to one another, and again, we have speakers that help you not only get more motivated, but walk out smarter than you walked in. At O'Mara's, you have a nice menu to draw from, and depending on how hungry you are, order whatever you wish as long as you pay for it. But to sort of add a little spice, so to speak, say we're talking food, spice, not bad. In the mornings as well as noon, we have a door prize drawing that if you're the winner, you are going to have an opportunity to be a guest host or co-host with me on this show, and it's heard on this station, WNZK 690 AM, also 1160 AM, which is WCXI, and also on the internet worldwide. This is all free if you win. And guess what? Because we now have technology, by putting the interview on a flash drive, we can post it on our website from the internet. And then when you make a sales call and people want to hear everything that you do or the highlights, rather than repeating the same thing, which, by the way, is a serious issue, many times people find that they're not successful in their business or start sliding down. One of the reasons is that they forgot what they used to say. And they forgot that they forgot. So this is a way that you can really promote yourself to become as successful as you can possibly be. And we have top-notch business coaches. And I'm so excited about having a fellow member of our entrepreneurs group who's made some serious money helping you achieve your goals. Mario Fachini is going to be our speaker, and we'll have an opportunity for him to highlight 7 strategies. Remember the book, Covey's book, 7 Habits? Well, Mario is the typical entrepreneur. He sees an idea. He says, hey, I can use that similar format. His book actually has 7 tips on how to transform your particular talents. Hello, Mario. How is that? Hello, Mario. Yes,
Ike, it's a great day, and I'm excited to share with your audience.
Oh, well, that is terrific. I appreciate it, and I am really excited about having you as our speaker tomorrow. And just so that you don't think I made this up, you already spoke several times to our group, and we got feedback from our members and said, hey, when you bringing Mario back? So guess what, Mario? You are back tomorrow.
Well, I'm excited about it. You know, I appreciate you sharing the 7 steps to transform your expertise into profit. And it's something that any business can use, and it's so overlooked. You know, I always use the example of everyone is giving away $50,000 worth of information to sell a $500 trinket. I run into the most successful, ambitious, sharp business owners, entrepreneurs around, and they're just struggling to go from A to B when really, mentally, in the knowledge and wisdom they have, they're at like X. And it's an honor and a privilege for me to help them transform that and turn it into additional profits for the company and just cut out all that crap. I mean, how good does that sound?
Well, what sounds great is that you don't just talk fluff stuff, is that you're addressing specific areas. And I had you on my TV show as well, and that's one of the benefits of joining up with the Entrepreneurs Network, is that we get you on radio, TV, on the internet. As I like to joke about it, I can make you almost famous, and you meet some really dynamic type people. And interesting enough, our vice president of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan is actually going to be there, Lou Goutman, and I believe Lou just called in. Is that right, Lou? Are you with us, Lou?
I am with you, Ike.
Okay, all right.
And I'm even happier to know that you're with me.
Okay, well, great. Well, you're also with Mario, and we are going to be discussing his presentation for tomorrow. Is that what prompted you to call in, or what do you have on your mind?
Ike, it was your wonderful melodious tones that prompted me to call in and say good morning.
Okay. If you have melodious tones as well, if you want to hang in there and participate in our conversation, Mario is a top-notch speaker and presenter, so I am sure he's not going to be offended by your piping in. So let's get started, Mario. Obviously, if there's 7 steps, I know God actually created light the first day, as I recall. What does Mario have as the first step in your book?
Well, the first thing you have to do is get someone's attention. Out of anything you can do, people nowadays are going, should I do this? Should I do that? What about this thing? What about the shiny object over here? What about that website? It's all well and good, but if you don't have their attention, none of the rest matters. Like you're saying, God created the world in 7 days and he made light. I agree with that 100%. And also with the reference you made to Stephen Covey, 7 is a very easy number to break down your steps, and I'll actually go into that because for anyone listening, whatever business you're in, look at your process and how can you put it into a step-by-step system. When you have people don't buy information, they buy systems. Well, you want to make it easy and digestible, but number one, you need to have their attention. You can't do anything if they're not listening, right?
Right. Well, I have my own little spins on some of this concept of marketing and selling. There are so many books out there that unfortunately you read it and you say, that's interesting, but they really don't give you an action plan. And the biggest area of confusion that many entrepreneurs make is that they, in their own minds, haven't identified how to properly market and sell whatever they're involved with. The best 2 lines of marketing and selling, and to make it clear, and this might be something that if you have a pencil in hand and a piece of paper ideally, that you write down the definition both of marketing and selling. Marketing, like you brought out so well, Mario, is getting your prospects' attention. Selling is getting their money. That's it, okay? So, Mario, in your experience, and I know you do a lot of coaching, you have got a really top-notch approach. You don't just take anyone on that rings your telephone. You actually have them fill out some sort of a survey or assessment. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, and it goes well into point number 2 here, authority. You need to get their attention, and then you need to be positioned as the authority. One of the ways you can do that, and honestly, it just weeds out all the people that are trying to waste your time. I mean, it's a time saver, it's a leverage point, but it also has authority positioning. So many businesses say, oh, I got 10 people interested in working with me. So they work with 10 people only to find out down the road it's someone you shouldn't be talking to, you know? So when you have the application process, you know, what does a doctor make you do? You go in there and they say, fill out this form. We want to get your information. We want to get that. And they prioritize, you know, is this life-threatening? Is this something we need to take you on right away? Is this something that doesn't matter for a month? You know, so you have to have this qualification process in. And, you know, that's why it's number 2 in the process. Number 3 is associate. You have to connect with the prospect. So, again, you can have people knocking on your door. They can be calling in. They can be hitting up your email and all that. But if you don't relate with them, if they don't resonate with you, it's going to be a hard relationship just even talking to them because you're both on 2 different pages, you know? And I see a lot of people, I go, what's the problem? They say A, B, and C. I'm thinking, why did you work with them in the first place? All of it, 80% of the problems are preventable. You have to connect with them and be on the same page.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up because the sad part about many entrepreneurs is they get so excited that someone is actually interested in talking to them that they automatically get involved only to find out after they spent a considerable amount of time, which is not replaceable. That is the one thing, unfortunately, that you get one shot at, is your professional expertise and time. So as a result, I got to commend you. You don't want to upset people, and I think that's the worst mistake, or one of them. There, you know, I've come to the conclusion there's never just one thing that is do or die. One thing that's for sure is that if you just jump on every call that people call, and you're so excited about getting involved, only to find out that, hey, you know, this isn't what I thought it would be. But if you tell them up front, let me find out first of all if I can help you. So that way they're mentally prepared that, hey, this is not a done deal. I got your attention. You're going to find out as much about me initially and to see if there's a marriage there. Is that a good assessment of what you do, Mario?
That's actually a perfect segue. I wanted to go into, and we'll cover the next 2 steps. But, you know, it's Valentine's Day, right? So what's another
Happy Valentine's Day. What's that? 14.
Yeah, and I remember in high school, it's, you know, to the point of the qualification process, not everyone you talk to, and this is dealing with relationships, is a good fit. Now, I don't know about having a qualification process and making people fill out a survey and questionnaire just to go out with you, but it's the same mentality. Are you assessing the situation? Should this move forward? Is this a smart idea? You know, or, you know, I'm not going to talk about the downside of that because it's much worse than just, you know, you don't have a client. But a lot of this is just common sense. I mean, truthfully, this isn't rocket surgery. So you got to get the attention. You have to be positioned as the authority. You know, are you the go-to expert in their eyes, not just in your mind? Because I ask everyone, are you the expert of your niche? And they go, oh, yeah, I'm an expert. I go, well, then how come there's 400 experts, but when I ask the marketplace or their prospects, they don't see them that way? You have to connect and associate, you know. That's what the dating phase is for. That's what you talk to someone on the phone for. You have to feel them out. Is this going to work? Can we even work together and talk? The next step, advise. You have to have good information to be given to them. You can't just be a generalist. You can't just come in and say, you know, I can fix your tires on your car. You know, come to my tire place. Well, everyone can do that. What else are you going to do?
And I hate to cut you off, Mario, but talk about connecting. I have to connect to our sponsors because they help pay for the show. And,
understandable.
And Lou, if you're still on the line, before we take our break, do you have a Lou comment before we take our break? Otherwise, we'll share it when we come back.
We can share it when we come back.
Very good. Okay, terrific. Don't you go away, folks. You're going to get a chance to see Mr. Lou Goutman and Mr. Mario Fachini if you just show up tomorrow at Level 1 Bank, 37100 Woodward. Don't you dare go away. House Calls on Wheels has a great idea on how you can help your loved ones stay comfortable, independent, safe, and right at home by converting your attached garage or retrofitting your home to a customized home healthcare suite. Call 888-489-8980. The Healthcare Suite is a customized floor plan which quickly and easily converts your garage or modifies any room inside your home into a comfortable living area in less than 90 days. If you'd like, the unit has its own heating, air conditioning, and plumbing system, even a private bathroom, and all of this for less than a year's stay in a nursing home. And we have a budget plan so that we can work within your budget. Call 888-489-8980. We even have a free video that you can see. Call 888-489-8980 and find out about the Healthcare Suite now. When it's time to move, don't trust all your memories and most prized possessions to just some guys with a truck. Get personalized first-class treatment from bonded and experienced moving professionals. If you're confused about all the details involved in moving from one household to another, call 1-888-489-8980. Is always the concern of who should I call about the utilities? How shall I handle my household appliances? What should I do about my pets? What do I need to handle in advance of the move? For a free brochure titled Practical Hints to Make Moving Day Easier, call Aberdeen Van Lines at 1-888-489-8980. We can even help you in selling your home or any furniture that you may no longer wish for your next move. Let Aberdeen help make your move a dream. So call 1-888-489-8980 now. And we're back. Not only are we back, but we also have our fronts. We have two fronts, actually, including mine would be the third. Our vice president of the Entrepreneurs Network, whose voice you hear quite frequently on this station, Mr. Lou Goutman, who will be there tomorrow, and Lou has his own company called Advertising Alternatives, where he actually helps you get your message across in novel ways. And if you don't know what novel is, ask Lou. And actually, Mario Fachini, who's going to be our speaker tomorrow. So before we took our break, Mario actually addressed some of the highlights of his talk tomorrow. Do you have any comment, Lou, as to what was already said?
Well, if you ask Lou, he'll tell you what to do.
Okay, so please go ahead. We have a few minutes, Lou. Please, do you have any comments?
I think the message, of course, that Mario brings to the table is very positive, and for somebody who's been involved in direct sales for as many years as I have been, again, as Mario said, getting your prospects' attention is very, very important, and then maintaining your prospects' attention so that you can get to the heart of the matter. I think all salespeople have experienced the pitfalls of making sales calls, and as Mario said earlier in his presentation this morning, that people will go to great lengths just to try to make a small sale. And as you said, Ike, and which is very true, and I think the older we get, the more we realize how true it really is. is that time is a very precious commodity, and we all have a very limited amount of time. And we all want to make the best of our business day, and help those people who want our help. And if they don't want our help, then we need to move on and find somebody who will appreciate
All right.
it.
So you have to be discreet as to where you want to spend your time. And Mario, you certainly have spent a lot of time in helping people get the attention. Do you analyze each client that you deal with to customize for them as to who they call on, as to how to get that respective client's attention? Do you have some strategies there?
I do, and that's, again, you guys are setting this up for me to make it super easy. It's a perfect segue into the last three. When I'm working with people and they're going through my training, how I was saying, create a system. You don't want it to be guesswork. You don't want to say, I want to work with anyone, because like you're saying, you only have so much time. That's why the next point is actuate. You have to get them to get into action. You can't spend all the time in the world just going, is this a right fit? Is this, that, the other thing? Who am I working with? In today's great age, now we can automate things. You don't need to talk to 100 different people one-on-one and go on 100 different coffee appointments to find one or two that are a good fit. And that's actually the 6th point, automate.
Mm-hmm.
You can do things that have all this running for you, and then you get to spend your best time. You get to invest it with your clients at the highest level. You're not chasing yourself in circles. And you can do that by the last point, advertising. So many people, I know people right now in the dead of winter that'll go to door, knocking on businesses, consumers, whatever. And they got families, they got kids, they got all this stuff. I looked at my ads. Some of the ads I have running are like 3 cents an ad for 5,000 impressions. And I did nothing for it as far as once I set it up and just let the stuff run. Why would you trade that time with your family and your friends and doing stuff? Time is your most valuable asset. So recapping the 7 points, attention, authority, associate, advise, actuate, automate, and advertise. Like Lou was saying, when you put them in together, you have to get the attention, you have to connect. But all of the stuff that goes into there, it's laid out strategically. So to go back to your question, yes, when I'm working with people and they apply for my training, mine is all set up very, very intentionally, but so should everyone else's business. It shouldn't be, we got 10 calls, let's take 9 of them on. What if it's only 4? Well, you need to know exactly who
What
you're
if it's only
for.
1 or 2? And unfortunately, Mario, we run out of time, and I am looking forward to your talk tomorrow morning at Level 1 Bank. And they can schmooze with you afterward and maybe even have lunch together if you can join us. Unfortunately, right now, I've run out of time. Thanks so much, Mr. Lou Goutman and Mario Fachini. Did I pronounce your last name? I think I missed. Fachini, okay, all right, very good. So I sit corrected. Anyway, you'll for sure have business cards so people will know exactly how to spell and pronounce your name.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, right now I only have enough time for my parting thought, which is, if you really want to get anything done in life, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals in America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.
WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. You're listening to WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, your ethnic superstation, 690 days, 680 nights.